If you're dealing with debt, you know how frustrating it can be, and so do we. We're Family Credit Management, and over the past 20 years, our experts have helped thousands of families conquer their debt. What we do is work with you and your creditors to find a customized solution to your finances. Isn't it time you took control of your financial future? As one of the nation's largest nonprofit credit counseling agencies, we're trusted experts who can really help. But you must take the first step.
Hey, we're back another week. So my name is Letitia Griffin, and I am here to talk to you for the next, 30 minutes or so, just regarding any types of issues or problems, anything that you may have, any questions, concerns, and even if you want to share stories that relate to debt, finances, credit, or if you need help with your dealing with collection agencies and your credit report, feel free to give us a call. You can reach us at 312-738-1060, and you can ask any questions that you may have. Now, let's say you don't get a chance to call, or you think of something after the show is already over. In that case, you can feel free to reach out to Counselor Family Credit at 800-994-3328, and that way you can get the help that you need. Now, with Family Credit on that website, I do want to recommend, if you need help, you don't know where to get it, you can chat online with a counselor at familycredit.org, and that is just a great tool, a great resource to have. So, over the past few weeks, we've been talking about a lot of different issues that relate to debt and finances. And one of the things that we talked about was how people can become victims of predatory lending and different scams that are out there. So just wanted to make sure that you are still thinking about that, because I don't want you to become a victim. Be sure that you're watching your information, watching what's out there. If you see a scam or you think something is a scam, feel free to just do your research on it, report it if need be, and ask the right people the right questions. You can always ask a counselor as well if you've got some questions about that, because that's the best place that you can go. If you need to get help and you don't want to be taken advantage of, feel free to reach out. Seriously. I come across a lot of different individuals that I've been speaking with lately as it relates to scams, and one of the worst scams out there that I've come across is where people were claiming to help with foreclosure prevention. And so I just want you to be careful about those advertisements that you may see. You may hear things on the radio, and a lot of times it really does sound great. It sounds like a great option for you. But just think, if something sounds really too good to be true, a lot of times it probably is. That fast help that a lot of places try and recommend, you want to stay away from it and be cautious about it. If there's ever a point in time where someone tells you, just to stop paying your bills, or there's going to be no payments going to them, be careful with that. I came across a family over the past week, and my heart just really goes out to them because they needed help with their mortgage. The wife had become unemployed, and they were fine, they were current at that point in time, but they knew that in the future, unless she found work, they were going to be in trouble. So they tried to be proactive and get the help that they needed. And they reached out because they heard someone, advertise a great service on a radio show, thought that it was going to be good. And they didn't do enough research on it to make sure that that company was actually legitimate and would do what they needed done. Turns out that in the course of working with them, they thought that they were paying their mortgage lender. They were not. And they became $15,000 delinquent over the course of a few months. So you want to be careful not to get yourself in that situation. Make sure you do your research, and if you need help with debt or with your credit cards, or just with dealing with collection agencies, find the right help out there. So just want to make sure that you avoid those scams. Also, there's been an increase in mail scams, publishers clearinghouse scams, where they think that you want a prize. Stay away from those too. And just anything that you get, especially in your email, the phishing attempts that are out there, make sure you're protecting your information. You're not saving your credit card information or your debit card information on your computers, and just being cautious about your surroundings and those people around you. If you get into any, if you notice any type of fraud on your part, on in your accounts, on your bank statements, anything like that, report it right away. If it's with your bank, you can report it to your bank and they will help you out with that process and get that money returned back to you. But if you don't say anything, they can't help. So make sure you stay vocal and get the help you need. Also, if you are looking for help with dealing with your credit cards and there's fraud there on your credit cards, contact those the credit card companies. Let them know what's going on, and also contact the credit bureaus. Now, if you're in trouble, you think that there's fraud on your account, if you contact one credit bureau, they'll contact the other three for you, the other two for you. So 3 credit bureaus in all. You contact one, they'll contact the rest of them. But you need to let them know that there's been some fraud on your account, and you want to be proactive and make sure that it does not affect you negatively. So another issue that I've come across is that nowadays people are finding it harder to establish credit, and this mostly affects like the kids that are, or those that are in college or coming out of college, moving into the real world, and they don't know what to do. They need an apartment, they need furniture, they need all this stuff, but they don't really want debt, don't know how to get it, but they need to get started with something. So a lot of times people may say, or they've been asking me, hey, my child is 19 years old right now on his own. Should I co-sign, or should I make them an authorized user on my credit card to help them get started? This is something that a lot of people do, and it's a way to help them. It is a way to help them get started. Now, as far as how it affects their score is different from yours. But with them being authorized on your card, it gives them a starting point, and that's what you need. Now, one of the precautions that I want to bring up and want you to pay attention to is if you decide to make your child an authorized user on your credit card, you have to think about that. Not only is it affecting them, but whatever you do, it also affects you. So there's a two-way street there. What you do on that credit card will affect them, and you need to talk to them and let them know whether you'll help them with it, if they can use it to make purchases, who's responsible for the payments. Those are some things that you need to sit down and actually think about. When you're thinking about the credit card, let's say you get a credit card and you put them on, they're authorized on it. It goes on their credit report and it goes on your report. It's already, so it's reporting to build up some positive history there. So by it reporting on their credit report, you do want to make sure, let them know if they're going to be responsible for it. One idea that you can use with that is you can get a card just for them. You can be the main person on the account. They can be authorized, but let them know, hey, this is your card. You use it, you pay it. So you want to have that discussion up front. Looks like we've got a caller. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi, yes. How can I stop collection calls?
Ooh, that's a really good question. First, you need to figure out is the debt that they're calling on, is it actually something that you owe? Or you may want to see if it's something old or something that you don't have any information on. You need to do some research on the debt. Now, with dealing with creditors, if you tell them to stop calling, they have to abide by that. But there's a certain way that you must go about it. So if you've got a creditor that's harassing you, first you want to verify the debt. Ask them next time they call to send you verification that you owe that debt. And if they can do that, then you might want to look into setting up arrangements or something like that. But if they can't do it, they're just insisting that you owe this debt. And a lot of times they'll be calling you and harassing you, and it's not even your account, or you don't even owe it, but they're trying to bully you into making payments. So that's one of the things you want to think about is that's why it's important to see if you owe that debt. If you do not owe that debt, or let's say it's a really old debt, you know you owe it, you just can't pay it right now, you also want to let them know that. You want to do what's called a cease and desist process with the creditor. And with this cease and desist process, all you are doing is saying to them, you need to stop harassing me. You need to stop calling me. I know I have this debt. I'm going to pay it. But right now I can't do it at this time. Or maybe you want to tell them whatever you can do on it, but you want to tell them to stop calling you. Don't contact your relatives or anyone around you. And you need to send that to them, certified mail or return receipt, so that you have proof that they actually received it. Once they get it, they have to honor it. Now, when they get it though, there's two things that they can do. First of all, of course, they can stop calling you, or they can call you one last time to tell you that they're going to pursue legal action against you. Now, a lot of times you think that someone's pursuing legal action against you and you get scared. You don't want that to happen. You don't want it to go to the court system. But you need to know that what they're saying is true as well. So a lot of collectors got in trouble for saying, hey, we're going to press charges against you. We're going to sue you. And they didn't even have the legal way or means to actually do it. And sometimes they didn't even have the account. So there's a way to go about it. Make sure that you are taking care of yourself. You've got your best interests at heart, because they don't. You have the right to make those creditors stop calling. And if you've got questions about that, you can contact a counselor at 800-994-3328 and just get more information about dealing with creditors, about getting the harassment stopped. And that will actually go a long ways in keeping your credit together as well. So those are all moving parts that you want to think about. We were talking about being an authorized, or allowing your kids on your accounts as authorized users. So the final thing with that is make sure that whatever you do, you talk to them and you know who's responsible for what, and how the card is going to be used and how it will affect things. It used to be a long time ago when you added a child or people piggybacked off of each other, then it would increase the score. But right now it's not so much nowadays, because the credit bureaus know that people are trying to do that. So it really still is based on your individual performance on your credit report and credit score. So even though you've got that account there, still want to get some other things that'll help increase your score and make things better for you. Another topic that we've come across is about joint debt. So we wanted to talk about that a little bit too. Now, let's say that you have someone that you co-sign for and they stop making payments. And that really does affect you, because there's some times where if they're not making payments, if their creditor reports to the credit bureau, it will affect your credit and it will cause your score to fall, which is why you want to be careful with those authorized users as well. But with those joint accounts, you are assuming responsibility for it. So if you are co-signer or you are joint on an account, you are saying to that lender, if something goes bad and that person does not pay the account, you can come to me and I'll pay it for you. You've given them permission. So that's why you want to think about it. Especially a lot of times if there are situations where someone finds out that they can't get a car loan or they can't get a home and they need to bring someone on the loan with them to strengthen things, you want to think about that too, because typically banks are in the business to make money. They don't want to say no. They want to say yes and get as many loans as they can. They want to get people into cars, people into homes, and they want to give out those credit cards and all those types of offers. So they're in the business of making money. So if someone goes to a bank and that bank says no, then you want to think about whether you should put yourself in the position to say yes. And you're risking your credit, you're risking your standings and your score over emotions. So a lot of times we have to take the emotions out of those types of things and say to ourselves, if the bank said no, maybe I should too. Maybe there's other options that they can look in. They can look at rebuilding their score, making things better, or paying down their debt so that they can get what they want and get what they need to. We're in the age of satisfaction. We want instant gratification. But sometimes it's best that we do wait, we do save, we do make things better for us before we start down that road. So let's say you've got somebody and you guys have co-signed together, and now you want off the loan. What do? Well, there's not a whole lot of options for you, but there are certain things that you can do. So for certain loans, typically if you've got a loan with someone and they've made payments on it consistently, you've made payments on it consistently, you want to turn over ownership. A lot of times, if payments have been coming in for maybe let's say about 2 years, with certain loans, you can get a co-signer release. Now, that's something great if you, like I said, you want to get things in order, you want to turn things back over to them, you want to take yourself out of that situation. So you talk to your creditor and see about getting a co-signer release. And you also may want to check out the terms of when you got the loan or the credit card and see if that's something that they allow. Looks like we've got another caller. Hi, welcome to the show.
Oh, hello. I was calling because I filed bankruptcy a couple of years ago, and now I'm trying to build my credit, and I really have no idea where to even start.
You are not alone. There's a lot of people that are struggling with that too, because out of bankruptcy, you think once you get rid of that debt, it should be easy for you to get credit. But a lot of times it's not. You're struggling trying to figure out what will work, what you can do to make things better, and where you can go for help. You want to rebuild. So the first thing that you need to do is just look at all of your options. Great resource for you to look at is bankrate.com, because they've got a calculator which will help you pick out what credit card you can get or what product you can get based off of your credit situation. And that way you can get just a few different options and figure out what works for you. You also should look at getting a secured card. Now with a secured card, what you're doing, you will have to put down money saying that whatever credit card you want to get, however much you want the credit limit to be, you front the money for that credit limit. So if you have $500, you want a $500 credit card, you'll be putting down $500. And that will be your credit limit, but you're going to be making payments on it each and every single month. That's going to go a long ways in rebuilding your credit score. And also you want to pay attention to those things that are coming in now. I see a lot of people that go through bankruptcy and they may have forgotten a bill, or they get a bill in late. They've already been discharged, but now they've got the statement coming in for an old bill. If you come across that situation, you've got some other things that needs to be included in your bankruptcy, make sure you contact your attorney again and have that included, even if it's after the fact. If it's around the same time frame when that debt should have been included, you want to make sure that that attorney gets that in there. So you're looking at rebuilding your credit by watching your current debt. Make sure you don't have any other bills out there. There's no collections. You want to make sure that you can establish a credit account or some type of revolving loan account. And you want to look at the secure card options or the regular credit card options. Now, keep in mind that if you go with the regular credit card though, sometimes you may have to do it at a higher interest rate and higher fees. It's just for a moment though, while you're trying to work on rebuilding things and making things better. And as your score rebounds, you'll be able to get other credit card offers and other options that are out there. And you'll be able to even replace this one in the future. I wouldn't suggest closing it out, but maybe if you just keep that credit card open and at a zero balance, but use your other cards once you get the new ones, then that'd be great. Pay attention to your interest rate. Make sure that you can afford the payments also. And then if you cannot do that, you can't find a credit card, the one thing I want you to do is talk to your banking representative, whatever financial institution, credit union, whatever you use. Ask them if they have a credit rebuilding product. Make sure that you get that down, credit rebuilding product. You want to see what they have available, and you want to make sure that they report to the credit bureaus. You don't want to get something that's maybe like a debit card, you didn't know what it was, you thought it was going to strengthen your credit, but it really has no access to the credit bureau. So be careful of those. Also, there's some loans out there that people, come across and they think that they will rebuild their credit too, and then they find out that they don't even report to the credit bureau. So whatever you get, make sure you ask, do you report to the credit bureaus? Looks like we've got another caller. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi, I have credit cards that unfortunately I've maxed out. I've had a lot of things come up and needed to use them. I've been using them to pay for groceries. It's just out of control, and I don't know how to get them paid off. I know the interest rates are a big part of it. What options do you have so I can work on becoming debt-free? Is there any suggestions you can make to me?
Sure. Now, when you're struggling with that situation, you want things to become better, and you're trying to get things under control, but you know that they're not. It's really going to take discipline for you to get things under control. First, you need to find out how much disposable income you actually have. After you've paid all of your bills, what's left? Then you need to take an inventory of the accounts that you have, see what the minimum payments are, what the balances are, when are they due, and you want to see if you actually have enough disposable income to cover those payments. Now, if you don't, and a lot of times you find out that you don't, you need to go over your budget and see what you can save on, what you can cut back, and see if there's any spending leaks out there. Another thing that you can do is you can talk to your creditors directly, see if they have any plans or options for you as well. But one of the best things that you can do is contact someone for help. And the counselors of Family Credit are on standby to help you out of those types of situations and problems. So if you are feeling overwhelmed at all, feel free to reach out and find out what you can specifically do that fits your situation, because I can give you recommendations too, but they may not work for you. But when you talk to someone directly about your individual situation, that's when you show that you're taking control of your finances and you're getting the help that you need. So you do want to do that. Feel free to reach out. Like I said, the website is a great place to start, and you can get the help that you need. Again, 800-994-3328. So we just want to wrap up really quick, just finishing up talking about those things that you can do to get your name off of a loan, because you've co-signed or you got a joint account and for some reason you're done with it. We talked about first you can get a co-signer release for certain loans. Check the terms and make sure you can though. The next thing you want to do is think about refining or consolidating. You can take all of the debt that you have and consolidate it into something else, and figure out who's responsible for what and make the payments based off of that. You can also agree, and that's something that you would have to agree to, leave whatever that line is open, and just work on this new debt, consolidating, making your payments on that. Another thing you can do is if there's an asset involved, and what I mean is if you have something that you co-signed on and it's like a car or a home and you want to be done with it, you can sell it and use whatever you get to pay off the rest of that loan. Now sometimes there may be a small balance left, it's called a deficiency, but sometimes there may be something left where you may have to split the rest of it and pay that off together, but it shouldn't be that much if you're able to sell it and come to terms with what you're selling it for. Another thing that you may want to do is by removing your name, you can transfer the balance to something else. And a lot of times you can say if someone's co-signing, what you do is have them contact the creditor again and tell them that they want to transfer that balance onto a brand new account, and by them doing that, they're taking your name off and making a new account just for them. So that's another way to get out from under that. And another thing that you want to do is the last resort, set up payment arrangements together, and you guys work out a schedule or a payment plan that'll help you get that debt paid off. And for a lot of people, even if they find out that they were forged fraudulently on a loan, and a lot of times that happens with family members or people that you are close to, so you do want to consider setting up a payment plan with them, trying to get that debt taken care of. So those are just some quick things that we wanted to talk about. And just remember, if you're authorized on a card, pay attention to the card, when it's due, how much you need to make, and when is the right time to use it. So again, we'll be back next week. If you got any other questions about debt, about credit, feel free to reach out. Contact the counselor at Family Credit. Go to the website at familycredit.org and get the help that you need. So other than that, feel free to watch our show again next week, and we'll be talking about some other helpful tips, tools, and ideas that you can use to get your debt and your finances under control. We will see you again next week. Take care.